to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. On this page, I talk about technology and money and also trending things. And one of the trending things is the Stanley Cup Finals, which are almost over with. I know I usually talk about technology and money and nurses working in tech, but hockey has kind of taken my attention and got me engaged over the last few months. So that's what we're going to be talking about. If you're watching, I just ask if you could like the video and also share it. Liking the video does two things, actually. Number one, it helps this content reach more people. Is you talking to the algorithm without you talking to the algorithm. And if you find it interesting and engaging, you liking the video helps other people who may find the content interesting and engaging to join. And then also it encourages me to keep creating content that you all find helpful. So yeah, y'all, tonight I wanted to keep it kind of quick and short. I know we always went for an hour on Saturday, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the Stanley. Of course, we're talking about the Stanley Cup Finals, y'all. Hockey is kind of has kind of pulled me in. I didn't expect it. You're looking at someone who's like learning about hockey in real time. I've been a hockey fan for all of 7 months, and I never thought it was going to be as fun and interesting and engaging as it is. But so you're looking at somebody who's learning about hockey in real time. So I may not always say the players' names right. I do try. I may not always do like the terms and stuff right, but I am learning and I'm trying. So tonight I wanted to talk a little bit about game one of the Stanley Cup Finals, the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Florida Panthers. From a fan perspective, if y'all want to like leave a comment, if you also want to join, like come up on stage, I call it coming up on stage. Y'all know I'm still learning, right? But if you want to come up on stage and join me on the live stream, you can do that. I'm going to drop a link in the chat in a minute. And you can do that. You don't have to cam up if you don't want, if you're not comfortable. So I want to talk a little bit about game one, right? And what I noticed and what I've learned in the last 2 days, a little bit about pregame, like game two is like puck drop is in 1 hour and 54 minutes. So just do like a pregame 2 fan check-in, talk a little bit what I learned about in terms of learning like zone entry, right? So, and how the Vegas Golden Knights was able to come up with a strategy to get around Bobrovsky based on, because like after game one, I went and I was reading up on different like hockey journalists and hockey web, like Hockey Psychology. I've been following them for a little bit. And they were talking some about the strategy that Vegas Golden Knights did against the Florida Panthers so they could get around Bobrovsky. Because I said in round 3 with the Carolina Hurricanes over on my TikTok, I said the Carolina Hurricanes got to come up with a strategy to get around Bobrovsky, whether that's fake pumping the puck to get it in, but they got it in. So that's what the topics are, and I'm gonna try to keep it not in an hour. I had fun the other night, and I'm glad the folks had a good time, like engaging in the chat and things like that. But I'm gonna try to keep this one under an hour. So for those who want to watch the professionals do their pre-games, that usually start at like 6:30 p.m., 7 p.m., y'all have time to like do that. So I'm gonna put a link in the chat. If you want to come up, you can come up. And if you are coming up and like you say you're going to join, but I haven't, let me know if you're like in the back room or backstage so I can know to bring you up. So game one, y'all, game one of the Stanley Cup Finals. A few things caught my eye. Number one was that move that Aiden Hill did, like the goalie on the Vegas Golden Knights. And the move that I'm talking about, I can't remember if it was in the first period or the second period, but the one where he was like stretched from like Asheville, North Carolina to the Outer Banks. And like he literally kept the puck from going in by like the tip of his stick. I mean, there was maybe about this much of a gap to get into the net. And Florida, I forget which Panther tried to get into that space, but Aiden Hill, like I was like, oh my God, he is stretched. I don't know if that's a move, but that definitely caught my eye. How he defended the net. I wanted Tkachuk's behavior, Matthew Tkachuk. And then some comments that Coach Maurice made after the game definitely caught my attention, where I can't remember if he was on ESPN. What, like, how they do like the post-game shows and things like that. And Coach Maurice was like, yeah, they just wanted to get us back in the box. Is it just me, or is it like Florida Panthers behavior always been has been rough like this whole round? Now, I didn't watch the Florida Panthers play before the finals, but I felt like they, from what I've seen, like behavior wise, I just thought they were just a little bit aggressive, like Gudas, the Gudas, that player, and then also Tkachuk. So if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, Matthew Tkachuk, in the third period, there was another player on the Florida Panthers. I think his last name is Hauz, Hauz. He held back a Vegas Golden Knight, and while he did that, Matthew Tkachuk just like cold clocked him in the face, just like. But that wasn't like the only like roughing that the Panthers were doing against the Golden Knights. Like, I mean, they just play rough. They play rough. I felt like the games that I watched against the Boston Bruins during the regular season, I felt like the Bruins played a little bit tough. But I mean, Florida Panthers been playing rough this whole final. So those things caught my eyes. And then also Jack Eichel. So after the games, I didn't know who Jack Eichel was on the Vegas Golden Knights before Saturday's game. But again, after Saturday night's game, I was reading a lot about, just the different players on the Vegas Golden Knights, and how most key was how Vegas, I wanted to know, like, what did the Vegas Golden Knights do to get around Bobrovsky? Because one thing I noticed in round 3 is that the Carolina Hurricanes, from what I see, mind you, like I keep saying, y'all know I'm a new fan, but one thing, it just in round 3 against the Carolina Hurricanes and Florida Panthers, almost like the Hurricanes couldn't get around it. They shut down. I think, was it either round 3 game 2 or round 3 game 3? It was like a complete shutout. And for those who don't know, a shutout is when the other team just doesn't score at all, like during the whole 60 minutes. So it was really interesting to see in game 1 of Saturday's game, how the Vegas Golden Knights was able to come up with a strategy to get around Bobrovsky. I didn't know it at the time, but one thing I noticed with all the goals that Vegas hit on Saturday, each goal, there was always, to me, it always looked like there was a lot of people in front of the net. I was like, golly, there's a lot of people in front of the net. And the pucks got in. Well, again, and reading the analysts afterwards and just learning that was actually a strategy called zone. I'm reading my notes, y'all. Got my little notes here. That was a strategy called zone entry. And that strategy, like how it was like executed by Jack Eichel, was one way how the Vegas Golden Knights was able to get around Bobrovsky and get the puck in the net. And so, for those who don't know what zone entry is, real quickly, because I don't want to talk about something without giving a pretty good definition. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen here, y'all. Let's see. All right. I think it's, y'all should be seeing that. It says that it's sharing. So zone entry is the time, it says the time when the forward group enters the offensive zone. So like the opposing team, the offensive zone, and it's done as a close unit, as this proximity is set up by standard breakout plays. And then it goes on to talk a little bit more. So as I was reading and learning about that, I actually came up across this Substack, which actually goes really more into detail. And as always, y'all, like in my tech videos and stuff, anytime I share an article or something like that, I always leave a link in the description after the live is over. So if folks want to go and like read for themselves, you can. But this article on Hockey Arsenal goes into depth about zone entries and how it can be more risky. But it has a greater payoff. And then there are like options around like zone entries. And it goes deeper into that. And then actually what caught my eye, and then I'll stop sharing after this, where it was talking about how the assistant GM of the Carolina Hurricanes, who used to be their director of analytics, and did a deep dive around zone entries and how helpful it can be as a strategy. So yeah, that's what I learned about in terms of like hockey learning since Saturday night's game. So what I'm really going to be watching tonight, paying attention tonight for game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals is, now that we saw on Saturday night and like the hockey analysts and things like that, and what I have learned that the Vegas Golden Knights use like Jack Eichel and this zone entry strategy to get around Bobrovsky to get the puck in. And Florida saw that, right? Because they lost, right? So if y'all don't know, for the Stanley Cup Finals, so far Vegas Golden Knights is leading 1-0. What I'm interested in is what Florida Panthers are going to do tonight to counteract. Is it counteract? Or like go against that strategy, right? So I have a strategy, and you figure out what my strategy is. And then I guess the other team comes up with a counter strategy, right? Because of course they want to win. But y'all let me know if I'm wrong, right? This is me learning about hockey in different plays and different strategies and things like that in real time. So again, I've only been a hockey fan for all of 7 months. So if you're just now coming into the live, welcome. Tonight we're talking a little bit about the Stanley Cup Finals game 1. Vegas Golden Knights won that game. They're leading the series 1-0. Game 2 is tonight. Puck drop is in 1 hour and 45 minutes. So I just wanted to do a pre-game check-in, just like from a fan perspective, from a newbie perspective. If you want to come up and give your comments or just like weigh in for game 2 tonight, you can do that. And if you're in the back room, just let me know, because y'all know I'm still learning about bringing people up and things like that. So yeah, so that's what I noticed in game 1. Oh, and also if you all can also please like the video as you're coming in and out. And again, I know it's dinner time and folks are like, if you're going to be watching game 2 tonight, have some things in preparation that you want to get ready for game 2. So if you do have to leave, I just ask if you could like the video, and also if you can share it on your way, I appreciate it. So that was that. So pre-game 2. One thing also that I did this weekend in terms of like hockey learning that kind of was really good was watching the NHL. They may do this every year. I don't know. This is my first year, but they're doing almost like a live. It's not live, but they're doing almost in near real time documentary called Quest for the Cup, or Quest for the Stanley Cup. And episode 4 came out either on Friday or Saturday. Now, if you're a Carolina Hurricanes fan like me, or if you're a Dallas Stars fan and you just not quite over that hurt, especially if you're a Hurricanes fan, I would highly recommend don't watch that documentary just yet, because I watched it yesterday and I didn't realize how fresh that hurt was of the loss, how the hurt of that loss for round 3 for the Carolina Hurricanes was still kind of fresh for me. It just kind of, I was like, oh my God, because it's like you're watching, I was like watching a bad movie and you know the outcome, or a scary movie and you already know what's going to happen. One thing that stood out to me at the end, like not towards the end, but like once the Carolina Hurricanes got, lost all 4 games in that round, and they were showing like game 4, and you know how they do like the handshake, the line at the end, and you saw Coach Rod like shake Matthew Tkachuk's hand, and then Coach Rod, was congratulating Tkachuk, and also Coach Maurice and all that. And I was like, especially Tkachuk. Now, coach to coach, professional and classy, but when he congratulated Tkachuk, especially after his behavior, against the several Carolina Hurricanes players, I was like, but it was professional and it was classy. So, but yes, but if your feelings aren't that hurt, the Quest for the Cup, that documentary is really good. They're 4 episodes in. They release like an episode. It seems like they release like an episode once a week. So at this point, they are right up until spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet. So the documentary episode 4 is at the point where the Florida Panthers have already won the Eastern Conference Finals and gotten the Prince of Wales trophy, and they show a little bit of that ceremony. And then also for Vegas, and then then with the Western Conference Finals. So the documentary is almost in near real time. So I would anticipate episode 5 that comes out next weekend we'll have like recaps of this week, of Saturday's game, and then also tonight's game. So I'm excited about it. It's a lot of fun to watch. So yeah, if you're watching and you're tuned in, you don't want to come up, that's fine. If y'all have any, like, you want to weigh in on tonight's game, I know some folks on Twitter said they tuned into Saturday's stream and they couldn't quite figure out how to leave something in the chat. That's fine. But if you have any thoughts with about tonight's game, do you think what are your thoughts on the Florida Panthers, if they're going to be able to come up with a strategy to counteract Vegas's strategy, right? And all the things that they did was on entry. And one other thing that caught my eye, let me do a quick time check. Oh, cool. We're only at 16 minutes. Good. Because I didn't want to go like an hour like we did on Saturday, was Jack Eichel. And I went back when they were talking about zone entry, like hockey psychology, and a couple of other hockey analysts were talking about Jack Eichel. This is what I also learned, was that he used to be captain of the Buffalo Sabres, real young. I think they said when they made him captain of the Buffalo Sabres, he was like one of the youngest captains in the NHL history, or just he was like super young. I think like 21, 22, but he ended up getting stripped of his captaincy. I learned it. I was like, ooh, just a little bit of drama and tea, y'all. He ended up getting stripped of his captaincy because he failed his physical. It was like something with his back or something, and he wanted to have a procedure that hockey players usually don't have. And there was just some things. And I went and I read quite a few articles. This is from a few years ago, where there were just different hockey news outlets said so many negative things and so many bad things about, like, he just doesn't live up to that. Because I guess it was just a lot of hype around him as a player, and it was like, oh, this young kid, he's captain of the Buffalo Sabres, and he's on injured reserve. He's not as good as everyone says he is. It was just a lot. I read a lot of, not a lot, but to me, four or five different articles, just negative press about him as a player when he was on the Buffalo Sabres. But now he's on the Vegas Golden Knights, and it's really interesting because when he got traded to the Vegas Golden Knights, I saw one of the outlets were talking about how Vegas took a chance on him. Like, they knew he wasn't, he was like coming off of injury reserve, being captain of the Buffalo Sabres, lost that captaincy, just all this negative press around him. And the team, Vegas Golden Knights, took a chance on him. They was like, okay, he may not be good right now, but we know the potential is there. And they were talking about the good leaders and things that were on the Vegas Golden Knights that helped almost like groom or mentor him to become the player that they knew he had the potential to be. And look how he's playing in the Stanley Cup Finals, y'all. You can't ever count. My grandma used to always say, you can't count anybody out just because you don't think they're not good enough, or if they're good, but then, they may slip a little bit. You just don't count anybody else. So I'm definitely looking forward to see how he's gonna play tonight. Who Vegas is gonna have in the net, if they're gonna put Aiden Hill back in the net. I have a feeling that the Florida Panthers are gonna put Bobrovsky back in the net tonight, right? Because I forget the name of the other goalie for the Florida Panthers, who they said has not played, I think, since like round 2 against the Maple Leafs. But I have a feeling that they're going to put Bobrovsky back in the net, but we're going to see, right? And then I want to also see what type of strategy Florida is going to do tonight to counteract that loss from this past Saturday. So yeah, y'all, that's it. I just wanted to do a quick check-in. If you're still tuned in and watching and not watching the replay, because the replay will be posted here in the next few minutes once I come off live, I can just ask if you would just like the video. Yeah, I appreciate the folks who tune in. I also appreciate the folks, the TikTok live. If you're coming over here from TikTok, I appreciate all the folks who tune in from TikTok. If you don't know what I did Saturday, and I did again tonight, because I know not everybody on TikTok has YouTube or like to come over to YouTube, and not everybody on YouTube like to go on TikTok. So I did a TikTok live right before this live, and I think we had like up to 1,600 likes and folks tuning in and leaving comments and things like that. So if you're over here from TikTok, thank you for tuning in. Or if you want to join the next TikTok live, I'm just figuring this out as I go. You're watching someone learn about hockey and get excited about hockey in real time. But if tonight goes well after the game, and for the next game, I think the next game is on Thursday. So it's not, if you're not following the series or just now following the series, game 3 is going to be on Thursday the 8th. So it's not going to be like, we had game 1 on Saturday and then game 2 tonight. Game 3 is not going to be on Wednesday. Game 3 is going to be on Thursday. So what I plan to do, again, just like I did tonight and on Saturday, is just do like a quick TikTok live before that game. So what I'll do for the folks who may want to come over to TikTok and engage on TikTok, which is fun. TikTok is there's some interesting comments and interesting folks, but yeah, the engagement over there is good. So I appreciate everyone who's been sharing the videos over on TikTok. So what I'll do, if the game is 8 p.m. on Thursday, what I'll probably do again is do a TikTok live about 5:45 p.m. Go live over there for maybe about 10 to 15 minutes, then jump over on here, right? And then you can also keep tuned into this page and also on my Twitter, right? Because I'll post over there. So yeah, y'all, that's it. Game puck drop is in an hour and 35 minutes. I'm excited. My money, well, I don't bet, but I'm weighing. I have a feeling Vegas Golden Knights can pull it off again. We'll see. So that's it. If y'all made it this far in the live or you're watching the replay, and if you made it this far, if you haven't yet, I just ask if you can like the video. If you find it interesting and engaging, if you can also share it. My contact information will be in the description box. I appreciate everyone who has supported the channel so far. I hope y'all stay safe. Enjoy the game if you're watching it tonight, and I will see you in the next video.